This is the 2025 Brewtubers Online Brewers Club Malt Experiment, Amber Ale. Thanks to our sponsors. 5 Star Chemicals. Check out their new online straight-to-consumer homebrew shop where you can buy everything from Star San and line cleaner to the new liquid PBW that can be used at temperatures as low as 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Check out their online store at 5starchemicals.com/home-brewing. Beer and Wine Hobby Homebrew Supply Store. A local homebrew shop in Danvers, Massachusetts. Order any malt they offer in any quantity you want, and if you order before 11 a.m., they'll package your items and ship out the very same day. Visit the store at www.beer-wine.com. Let's get tasting.
Hello, YouTube, Brewtube. Kurt from Fermentation Adventures coming back with another malt experiment video, specialty malt experiment video. The quick intro here is we've all, 11 of us, I believe, of us all brewed the same recipe with the exception of a single specialty malt that would have been substituted in for the various recipes. This is my third experiment review. I am reviewing right now Hattie Brews. I'm reviewing his beer. His specialty malt ingredient was Briess Mild Ashburne, and he's used 5.9%, which is probably, quick math, I don't know, maybe is about 10 ounces maybe or so based on the recipe. And his ABV was 5.7%, which is a bit higher than some of the ones I've tried so far. His IBUs are 34. Again, I don't know a lot about the mild malt. Mild is a style that I kind of like, so I'm excited to really kind of try this and see what this is bringing to the table, at least to our amber recipe. I did keep a plastic cup here of, this is my beer, which is kind of like supposedly a little bit of the baseline. So I'm probably going to take a sip of this here for comparison purposes. But I must say, look at the little foam cap on this sucker. I poured this about 25 minutes ago, and this is still going for my own review. But yeah. So again, just a simple recalibration for me, so I can try Adam's beer here, and I might do that because I do have a bunch of cans of this sitting around. I've been trying not to drink it and have a bunch of preconceived notions, so I opened the can here earlier tonight for review, and it was the first can I probably opened it about, I think last time I tried it, we were camping in October, and again, it was a fine beer for sitting around the campfire in the fall, and again, I kind of like it. I'm kind of getting the sense that, though it's from the baseline recipe, it could use a little bit more character, which again was the idea, to get all the other brewers to add these specialty malts in here, right? And again, so let's go. Let's open Hattie's beer now, and let's see how this one stacks up. Oh, nice hiss, nice, lots of carbonation. It's, getting the smoke out, a little bit of smoke from the top of the bottle, which is awesome. So let's pour it up here on camera. I need to really pour these a little bit more aggressively. I don't want to pour the whole bottle in case there's some settling, but I want to get a little bit of foam up here. Yeah, look at this. I can tell from the bottle too. I guess that's one of the good things about being in a bottle itself, is that you can tell the beer was quite clear in the bottle. There's a little subtle haze I can pick up in the tulip, but again, if I look through the glass here for the Trillium logo, I can clearly see the Trillium logo through here. Probably a little subtle haze, but a nice, white, slightly off-white foam cap on here with some nice big rocky bubbles that are really persistent around. Really well carbonated beer, really pretty looking beer. If it's probably a bit on the lower end of the SRM range for an amber beer, it is in the range. It is definitely not what you would expect to see from a pale ale or an IPA. So again, it's right in the low 12, 13 SRM, so it's low on the scale for an amber, but that's perfectly fine. The mild malt itself, I don't know how much color that brings to the actual to the table. I don't know what the base malt's Lovabond is, but But yeah, it did bring a little bit of extra color to this beer. So yeah, again, getting more of the again, kind of the a little bit of a kind of a freshly baked brown bread. Not terribly intense. It's probably in the medium intensity, but it is definitely what the primary aroma I'm getting here. Again, some of the other beers is probably more leaning towards sugar and, you know, like a brown sugar, a Demerara sugar, something really dark on that end, or like a dark fruit, like a sort of, you know, like a not a very intense raisin. I think I said golden raisin is kind of what I was thinking of when I'm mentioning raisin. Not getting that with this beer. This is very malt forward, and the again, to me, it's more on the breadiness, a light biscuitness from it. Some subtle toast in here. Not getting any sort of roast or anything. Yeast character. Maybe there's a little bit of a subtle ester underneath that's coming in here, but again, it's more an interplay of just really the maltiness of the kind of that. Rich breadiness is really playing the primary role in the aroma here. And again, not really getting much in the way of hops. I expect probably a little bit of a light, like a spicy hop in this, but I'm not really getting much of that. All right, so let's take a sip. That's nice. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, the retro nasal, more of that, you know, more of that kind of dark bread, dark wheat bread, maybe like honey wheat, maybe subtle little bit of honey wheat bread. You know, we've been kind of, that's been the bread du jour in the house lately, and it's bringing more of the, instead of like that really dark wheat brown bread, you know, it's more of with a little tinge of sweetness to the bread itself, a nice with a nice sugary hint to it, let's say. Well, yeah, retro nasal is really nice. Hops is really not getting much in the way of the hops here. Again, 5.7% does not really present as kind of a 6% beer, which is, you know, given the malty nature, it's not surprising. Mouthfeel, again, kind of a medium full mouthfeel, kind of somewhere in the middle of the road. We're not talking about a dry, crispy boy here. We're not talking about a really, you know, heavy, full mouthfeel here. Really nice sipper. Yeah, it's just really, this is kind of a, you know, let's say a celebration of the amber ale, of kind of this malt expression that you really kind of, that I would kind of really like from an amber ale. I guess the mild malt is really playing well with the caramel 60 and the Munich malt, and then the underlying breadiness, a little subtle graininess of the base 2 row, and it's really working well in a nice amber ale. So yeah, that's it. This malt is really nice. I'd really like to revisit it. Maybe try to brew a mild or a dark mild with a good chunk of it, and then try with some English yeast. It does make for a really nice American amber ale, you know, but yeah, it's a nice for an amber ale. Again, would I use it in my recipe? I don't know the typical amber ale I go for. I'm really going for kind of different flavors here, but I really think it worked well with this beer. All right, so wrapping up, ranking the beers, and the malts and what they would bring. Would I want to use again in a amber ale. Yeah, I'd say I'd go with I probably would go with this over the Toffee Malt or Hunt's beer. So Hattie Brews right now is number one. Hunt is number two. My baseline beer is a number three for obvious reasons. And you know, I really like the Toffee Malt. Brought a really interesting character to the beer. It kind of powered the amber aleness of it, and became a showcase for a toffee malt. But again, maybe it's really, again, that was a great way to really see what that brought to a beer. So maybe if you brewed it again, used a little bit of the a little less of the toffee for more character into kind of a more existing recipe, it probably would have be great. Again, at this point I don't want to go too crazy justifying the rankings, because as these videos go on, they would get really kind of crazy. But yeah, as for what I'm looking for in an amber ale, I think the mild malt really really amps up the kind of intermediate mid malts, dark-ish malts. Again, anything that's less than, SRM 100. Again, I don't know how dark this malt is, but it really brought a nice character to the beer. So I will wrap it up there. Finish up with saying thanks to 5-Star Chemicals and Beer and Wine Hobby for sponsoring the club and making this possible. And until next time, cheers. As I spill beer all over my beard. But yeah, this is a really nice one.